Is your mic okay where it's at? I freak out a little bit more about the position of your microphone.
It just doesn't seem that it is the way that it's supposed to be.
I know you're the talent on this show, but...
Well, I mean, I have very
welcome
strict
to
guidelines.
episode 14 of After Bedtime with Stevan, the awkward long pause,
and Kelsey. You don't
Apparently
need to announce
Zoom
it.
meetings.
It has its own effect.
What?
You don't have to announce awkward pause because it has its own effect by
Yeah, but
itself.
it's funny to call out the elephant in the room.
No, it's not funny. The fact that I'm doing an awkward pause is funny. But you announcing it ruins it.
So apparently family Zoom meetings are a very real thing in the world today.
Quarantine 2020.
Yeah, this is it's like an introvert's worst nightmare, because literally a Zoom call is nothing but people just sitting around looking at each other, waiting for an interaction to happen.
I think the Zoom meeting with my family was great.
Yeah, what? I mean, yeah,
And you're over here it's an introvert's worst nightmare.
It is an introvert's worst nightmare.
Is
but
that why you didn't want to be a part of it?
I totally understand that it's like an extrovert.
You didn't want to. You didn't want to be a part of it at all.
No, it's not that I didn't want to be a part of it. It's just hi. Oh, that's it. I don't need much else.
You don't FaceTime your family. You FaceTime your family all the time. Really, no. You FaceTime Lane all the time.
Sometimes I call my family. I'm just saying that for the most part, a family Zoom meeting has no sense of purpose or anything. It's literally just 20 people that get on it. They're staring at the screen and they're all like, let me entertain you with something.
That's not true.
Which I totally...
It was so much fun.
That's why you're an extrovert and I'm an introvert. And that's why we have different personality types.
So when you FaceTime your brother,
the world.
It always has a reason.
Yeah, most of the time if I picked up the phone to call you... Okay, first of all, if I picked up the phone to call you, something is very wrong. Or something is very important. Second of all, yes, if I picked
I'm pretty sure every single time you FaceTime Lane, it's literally just you shooting shit.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah,
he called.
You tease each other, and then you chat, and then there's one piece of information that needs to be given, and then
Listen,
you
I'm
go
not
on
interested
about your
in
day.
your analysis of my phone
I'm just
conversation.
saying, the stance you're standing on for anti-Zoom calls or whatever you're doing right now is not valid.
It's not anti-Zoom calls. It's not anti-Zoom calls. I'm just saying it's a thing. It's a thing people are doing. We're doing it. Everyone's doing it. I'm not count me in too.
I want to see their faces.
Yeah, I think it's totally an awesome thing for those that enjoy it.
And the Graves family's funny.
Yeah, you guys are very funny. It's funny to listen to. I just don't want to be
My dad was putting backgrounds on his Zoom.
And that's the best part of Zoom, I think.
That was so funny. And Tyler was doing it too. Tyler was being all quiet because I think he was playing Xbox at the same time. And every time he'd change his screen, nobody would really notice. But because he was being so quiet. Dad was drawing attention to his background. But then...
I think it's funny.
The whole conversation was funny. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm going to make sure we do it on a regular basis.
Okay.
I'm not saying we. I meant the family.
No, I know it's good for you. It's very good for you.
Stop saying it's good for me.
Or it's good for all the people that want to have that interaction, that connection.
So you don't want to have that.
No, I'm sorry. I am not the same as everybody else. I do not derive energy from that kind of.
So you don't. So you're saying you don't love your family, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's where everyone takes it. So, welcome to Steven's life for the last 26 years.
You're 27.
27 years.
No,
I'm gonna be 27.
I'm joking.
You're trying to add years.
I just wanted to see if you were paying attention.
You're gonna be 30 real soon.
I have no issue with that. Everyone, when people say that to me, they say it almost as a threat. And I'm I don't care.
So you think age is just a number?
it doesn't bother me
You know?
because how I am in my mental state is not the age that I am.
More importantly, though, I need a haircut real bad.
Yeah.
This quarantine thing
I
is
actually
like,
am not
maybe
bothered
we
by
should
your
just
hair.
get some
You're much more bothered by your hair than I am.
maybe we should just get some clippers.
I think that is
Just
a bad idea. Every hairstylist has made it very, very clear on social media. Do not touch your hair.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin my hair, so I'm holding out, but I'm gonna have to at some point take action. I mean, if this thing drags on as long as they're talking, it's
You're just gonna be teenage Stevan with long hair.
well, you know. But I mean, I should be thankful. I mean, that's my biggest problem right now at this point. So
yeah.
I'm grateful for my long hair, my unkept hair.
I don't think it looks bad.
Thanks, babe.
I don't even think it looks like you're at a point where you need a haircut. You just think you do.
I appreciate it. So now that we've got a little preamble there done and over with, what's the topics for tonight's podcast?
I said that
You
we
did?
could talk about stubborn children.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing because for some reason you can't figure out how to put our children to bed effectively.
No, I know how to put our children to bed effectively. It's just Steven thinks that I'm too hard, and then it makes me second guess my decisions.
No one's listening to you.
You are.
No, they're probably listening to you. They just it's after the fact.
You mean the children aren't listening to me, or our listeners aren't listening to me?
Oh no, I'm talking about the children.
Yes, but I had a very strict routine with Cal, and then it has been blatantly made clear by a lot of people that I am hard.
No. We had a very strict routine. I was even the person who sponsored the start of a routine because I was like, look, these things seem to go a lot better if we have.
No.
I think it was a joint effort.
From the get-go, I had a bedtime routine from him, from the get-go.
Well, let's not.
And then it went haywire when Steven allowed him to come into our bed.
Let's not do the blame and credit game, because like we're all human, we're all very flawed. I just think that kids need to go to bed when you tell them to go to bed, and I don't understand why they won't. Hey, are you texting during our podcast? Kelsey, are you texting during our podcast? This is getting out of hand.
It was your mother.
All right, so let's talk about this though for a minute. Let's sit on this. What makes for an effective bedtime experience?
I think
toddlers?
Everyone makes fun of me for my alarms that go off.
Oh my gosh, your alarms.
Alerting me to a certain time of night.
They go off.
It gives me enough time.
Never buy them. You never buy your phone. They go off and you're never close enough to your phone, so they just.
Wow, it is literally just rag on Kelsey tonight, isn't it?
No, I'm just messing around.
I have alarms that are set that help me kind of realize what time of night it is. Because sometimes when time changes, it takes me a minute to get used to it still being light outside.
What? It's 9 p.m.? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so I used to give Cal a bath every single night and then put him to bed because I felt like that really helped him wind down. Even though now I feel like bath time kind of ramps them up a little bit because now they're both playing in there. It used to calm Cal down, and now I don't feel like it does that anymore. I have noticed that like watching a movie before bed has really helped.
Yeah, but we're doing all that and it's not working.
Yeah, but also like last night you came in right at bedtime, like at the time they're supposed to go to sleep, and he wrestled with them.
It was awesome.
They're not going to go to bed. You've just ramped them up.
I wore them out.
No, you ramped them up.
Yeah,
I think the other thing is that like Cal gets up a lot because we have allowed that to happen, and we haven't been very strict on his rules for quite some time now. And someone has made me second guess of how stern I am as a parent.
You didn't mean me?
And other people have made comments that I'm hard.
I just no. Here's my opinion on it. Is sometimes I feel like sometimes feel like Cal and you are like George Foreman, and like you guys are just like you're the heavy hitters, and you're just gonna swing and throw punches at each other till you knock each other. Just pure raw power, right? That's just. Sometimes I feel like you need some Muhammad Ali in there who's just gonna like, as Cal throws those haymakers, you're just gonna slip them.
But I don't. I disagree with that.
And I know we have very different
because I don't feel like. Now there is moments where I let my anger or whatever get the better of me because I don't like how I'm being treated in that moment with him, and I do need to keep a more level head in a lot of those moments, but I do think a good majority of the time I keep a level head and just talk to him sternly. But I'm not okay with how bedtime routines have been as of late.
Been rough. I also think that we've done.
I think he's now teaching Kyler to do those things.
No, that's fair, and I think, but I will say this: while I would agree that we could be more strict with Cal, you go to bed and you stay in bed, and you don't get up 50,000 times because of something.
But I do want to stress to him that he can get up and go potty because I would like him to get out of the diapers.
Yes. Always exceptions to the rules, but I understand that. But I also think there's a level to this where there's also stubbornness to Cal where he has just made up his mind that he's digging in his heels. And it really doesn't matter what preamble you do to bedtime at this point in time. He has made a conscious choice that I don't want to be in bed, I don't want to go to sleep right now, and it doesn't matter if you sing me a lullaby, let me watch TV for an hour, rub lavender salts on me in the bath, and it doesn't matter how calm.
I don't use lavender salts.
But you know what I mean. It doesn't matter how calm our routine is.
I agree.
I think he literally can be super chilled out, and then the minute we're like, okay,
but
turn
I think
everything
that is
off
learned
and go to bed. He's
because
like, yep, here we go.
He does wind down, but now it's almost like it has been a learned trigger to him that he knows, okay, now I need to fight because I can get my way.
Yeah, but no. I don't think it's because I can get my way.
I do think
it's because I want my way.
No, the biggest thing is he knows that he can draw out his time.
Yeah, and that's what he's getting. And
that's ultimately what he's getting because we're allowing it.
But even with being a hard ass on him like tonight or last night.
Tonight was 10 times better than what it was.
But he still was up for an hour and a
nights.
half after bedtime.
But he didn't get anything.
No, he didn't get anything. But still, I mean, I think my point is I think there's a level to this which is just it's less about what we do before we go to bed, and to your point, it's more about just we said what we said, go to bed. We said what we said, go to bed.
I know, but I think Kyler is still good with that type of routine of the calm down moment, lay in bed, because I do see a drastic difference in him.
No, what I'm more of getting at is like with Cal, I think there's a part of this where we have to set the mindset of like we already know what's going to happen at 8 o'clock. We know what's going to happen between 8 and 9:30, and all we can do is just we say go to bed, go to bed. We say go to bed, go to bed. But I don't think if we have the expectation of we do all these things right, we get them in a good calm mood.
I agree with Cal. I agree that. But I also think that is just the stage right now. Because I think overall, when he has a more of a strict routine, he does better.
Does better. Fair enough. We agree to disagree.
Well, I don't like the whole, I'm not saying he needs an hour before bedtime, but I don't like the whole, it's 8 o'clock, let's rush to go put pajamas on and brush your teeth and throw you in bed.
Works. That doesn't work.
I don't want to do that.
I think at this point the benefit of it is kind of the return on the investment is not what it used to be in terms of
But I think that is because we have been compromising with him, and he's viewing it as, if I act this way, I get a little bit more. If I act this way, I get a little bit more. And so that is what I'm saying on it. Is that just make it clear of, nope.
And I'm compromising with you on that. Because I know that to you. I know the compromises to me are not that big a deal, but to you, they are. So I'm agreeing to have a united stance that you go to bed.
I'm not saying that they're a huge deal. I'm saying...
No, the huge deal is that they lead to the struggle of him staying in his bed. I get that. I totally understand that. That's why I'm saying I agree with you, and I agree to ignore Cal.
Okay.
Bedtime. Once something we very much look forward to.
I still don't mind it. It's just I think that we need to be a little harder in this situation.
Dane calls Karen Hitler. You want to be a little bit more Hitler in the situation.
Does she know he calls her that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying you just like blasting him on.
No,
she podcast right now.
I saw an Instagram story where Dane and Amelia were like running together, and so I was like, oh, they're becoming thick as thieves, you know. And I sent Karen a message and said, you better watch out. I hope that second one doesn't turn on you too, because she's gonna have it in. And she sent me a message back that said that yeah, they're like super. He's obsessed with her, and he never tells her no, and he calls her Hitler.
And he knows he doesn't tell her no.
But Amelia listens to her the first time.
He's told me this before, because this was quite a while ago, but like when I was watching her, helping them watch her during the day when their babysitter couldn't do it, and she's texting. She's a very she's a teacher, so she's very detail oriented. So she gives you the whole spiel of what Amelia's day looks like. And she's telling me all this, and then she's making it clear she doesn't have binkies anymore. She only has it at nap time. She has one in her bag. And then as soon as she walks through the door, she's got a binky in her mouth because she's coming with Dane. She's got her taggy and all of her little comfort things. And he's like,
Dads are just great.
No, this is what he says.
Look.
This is what he says. He goes, yeah, she just found it.
Yeah, and you don't want to take it away. I totally
She just found
get it.
it.
Because moms are hard asses and dads are great, and that's just the way the world should be.
But if you're both not doing the same thing, it's pointless.
No, kids get context.
No,
They're
they
that
don't.
woman's the hard ass. Don't fuck with her. That guy's the awesome buddy.
No, that dude's the pushover, and so I know I can get what I want.
He's like, sup, Dad, let's roll. Let's go.
No, that's not how they view it. They view it as, that one's the pushover, and I can get what I want.
I don't think so.
100%, and that's exactly why. Would you like to hear Cal's last ditch effort?
Nobody.
Nope. Shh. Cal's last ditch effort.
No, you're asking, would you? And I'm the only one that's listening right now. And no, I don't need to hear.
Cal's last ditch effort to stay awake, to get what he wanted in the situation. He goes, Daddy, Daddy, I love you. He knew. And luckily Stevan was playing the video game because he knew for a fact if he would do that, Stevan would be like, but what's wrong?
I'm coming, but...
Yeah.
No.
As soon as I heard it, I laughed.
I'm in a united front. We must stand our ground against the mean toddlers.
I don't think he's mean. He's very caring. It's just he knows what he needs to... He's smart. And then Kyler is just...
How you been doing with the quarantine, babe?
Wild.
How are you doing with the quarantine? You feeling good about it?
I haven't been
not
too
really
bad.
Quarantine, but stay-at-home order now that we have one. How are you doing with it? You doing okay?
I think I'm handling it pretty well.
I was doing fine until...
Today.
No, I've been fine today. Babe, Sundays are the Sunday blues. That's just for everybody, except people that...
But you're working from home tomorrow.
Yeah, no, but you still get the Sunday blues because, oh man, all the fun free times are ended. Just like Cal feels right before bed. He's like, oh man.
He does this now. He goes, but. As soon as you start, because he's trying to think of something in his head real quick.
See, we need to make a TikTok like that for people who have to work on Sunday nights. They're like the little kids that are like, but can
I just one
like
more,
at 11,
one more episode.
like as the clock is at like 11:59, you're like,
one more episode, just one more minute.
Actually, the biggest struggle was Saturday because for some reason in Missouri, it got really cold all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's the struggle to me.
We're in the springtime of Missouri, so we're dealing with the hot and cold weather fighting.
Like, as long as the stay-at-home thing is totally cool, I'm totally fine with being at home. But when I'm at home and I'm trapped with 3 other human beings, it's like I have to get out of the house at some point. Not like out of the house, but I need to like walk outside and breathe some fresh air. You know?
You see how much he likes his family?
I love my family. It's an introvert thing. Sometimes you just need to like peace and quiet and everyone to shut the hell up.
But you can go out into the gym.
Huh?
And close the door.
No, I know, but then I don't want you guys to feel like I don't want to be around you. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I know, but I understand it.
Cal goes, who's gonna be with me? Ugh, right, and just dagger right to my heart.
No, and I understand that. But the thing is that you need to take care of yourself too. So
I am.
If you need that moment to
don't you worry about me, honey.
Having a peaceful moment of working out without anybody all up in your business, it's okay if you want me to be the mean one, because I know that you're kind of incapable of doing it.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean.
Even though I think that's the funniest thing ever, because if you talked to anybody in Steven's family who they would have thought would have been the meaner one.
You know, if I could have the idea, so let's talk real quick about this. This is kind of interesting. So we talked last episode about working from home, which is awesome. I love it. I think it's the best thing ever. I think everyone should have the freedom
Access
to work
to it.
wherever they want. I don't care if it's home or at your office or at the coffee shop. You should just have freedom to work where you want to work from to get your work done, except when you're required to be in a specific physical place to accomplish your work.
Like you can't be a cashier and not be.
Yeah, or like in my job, I have to physically make things, and so I can't do that unless I'm at a very specific place and I have access to specific resources. But for things that don't require that just require internet connection and a computer or a phone. But I would layer on top of that also freedom of work schedule would be awesome as well, because like right now in like our current living situation, the best work schedule would be to like wake up at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, do 2 hours, 3 hours of work. Then from like 9 or 10 to noon or 1, be with the kids, be with the family, hang out. Kids go to nap, do another 2-3 hours of work. Then the kids wake up, or the family gets going again. Then do your more family time, and then after bedtime, go back and finish out your workday.
I don't feel like other people would be able to do that, but I do. I know you, and I know you would be very capable.
But the only way you could do that is if you had a job that was very like you worked very independently, or you worked very asynchronously.
Yeah.
Because I understand like that there is an efficiency of having everybody work during business hours, because then everyone's available to do meetings and answer emails. So I understand that, but just thinking of like...
Yeah, but now with like Zoom and stuff, you can just like schedule...
Yeah, but even then, it's like, well, it's 9 to noon. I'm not available. You know, I'm doing my family stuff, so I'm not working or whatever. But
yeah, but it's not like you couldn't make exceptions in those type of situations, definitely. Especially if it's just a family.
But the flexibility hours some days would be nice, because there are days where you're like, yeah, I get up, do 2 or 3 hours, then do the family. You can kind of maximize your family time and maximize your work and your productivity, I feel like. That's kind of off topic, but what's the next topic? And also, stop messing up your microphone.
I don't know what's happening. I'm very kind of flustered about the whole situation.
The whole microphone? That's what the microphone has always been.
I understand that you say that, But
Hey.
I feel like something's messed up with it.
Can you tell your family that we're podcasting?
No, it is your family. It's not mine.
Babe. Kelsey. What's the next topic?
You blew through my topics.
You only have one. What's the second one?
I don't remember now.
You don't have one? I gave you like
I
10
know,
minutes
you-
to prepare before we
You
started
put me
recording.
like really on the spot. Well, I mean, the other thing that's right on the top of my head is we could talk about the show that I've been watching,
Dr. Poole, the incredible Dr. Poole.
The Incredible Dr. Poole.
All right, let's not talk specifically about the show because that seems like it wouldn't be very interesting for a lot of people. Yeah, it just, we're not a TV review podcast.
No, I'm not saying that. You asked for ideas, and now I'm kind of annoyed because I gave an idea and then you just like tore it to shreds.
No, I actually really like the idea, but I want to talk about it from the perspective of,
But it has to be on the way you want to talk about it.
well, I'm the showrunner. You're the talent. My job is to push and direct you so that we get the best performance out of you.
Oh,
That's how this works.
because that's how our relationship is.
I'm just in the background pulling the strings, making sure everything goes
That
the way
was
it
not a smart
should.
decision on
Remember,
your part. to
have you ever
say
seen? Have you ever seen my big
Great
fat?
job quickly transitioning.
No,
from
this is
getting the whole thing
This is-
swept under the
no,
rug.
no, this is related to that because I'm kidding. I don't run the show here at all. But
We know.
there's a scene in My Big Fat Greek Wedding where the mom is like, they're like talking about marriage and women and men and everything, and the mom tells her, she's like, men may be the head of the family, but the woman is the neck that turns the head.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the best analogy ever. It's because it's so true. Oh no, okay, so back to the show. Okay, so Kelsey found this show on Disney Plus that originally, or does still, I don't know what the status
It's
is,
still, I believe it's still running.
on the National Geographic channel, right? Nat Geo? I think it's Nat Geo.
That's it. The category that it's in under Disney Plus.
Yeah, I think
so
it's
would assume
Nat
so.
Geo. It's called The Incredible Dr. Poole.
Poll.
And it's
P-O-L.
it's the most random thing ever.
Yeah, I
But
just
the
like happened
content
upon it.
is awesome and it's fascinating. It's a little repetitive at times, and they use the same clip spliced into different episodes.
Yeah, I do see that a lot.
But I think that's because
The
it's
reason
just,
why I like it is because I like.
well, hold on, we
like-
gotta tell what it is. Okay, what it is it's a veterinarian, but like an old school. I mean, this guy was born like pre-World War II or just after World War II, so he's like 70 years old or something like that.
He's older than that.
So he was trained as
Now.
a vet like 50 years ago.
Because they were saying that season 1, they were saying he was 69,
Okay.
and that was
well, fair enough.
2011.
And he's a vet, and he's from the Netherlands, but he practices in like rural Michigan. So it's the weirdest juxtaposition.
And he's kind of like an uncommon vet because he does big animals and he does small animals.
Yes, these are all details though that are great. If you go watch the show, I think you'll like it. But I want to talk about how he is as a.
Can I not just like talk? It's a little annoying.
All right.
I wasn't gonna go on and on about what he does, but it gives them an idea of what the show is.
Give him an idea.
Well, now it kind of feels like you don't want me to.
I really want you to.
The reason why I like the show is I'm a big fan of Animal Planet. I like animal shows. I like animal trainers. I like them all. And so I just happened upon it because I used to watch like Animal Cops and stuff like that.
And I like that you like.
So I just happened upon it, and At first, I didn't know if I was gonna like it, but he's an intense guy himself, and he's like Steven said, he's very old school.
Which Kelsey gravitates to every character like this in everything. She loves Sherlock Holmes, very intense personality. She likes Dr. Pole, very intense. Like,
but you find this shocking. But you're like, and that's who I am. Well, obviously, I gravitate towards these characters because I married that character. Does that not make sense to anyone?
Your audio gain levels are off the charts. You are screaming into that mic.
I didn't mean to.
I'm gonna have to adjust all my audio right there.
I didn't mean to.
It's
I'm just saying it doesn't.
Post-production work going
You
on.
are always so shocked by this, but I've been with you for over 10 years now.
Babe, but you don't like that side of me. It's like it's amusing to you and fun from afar, but then when it's like here, you're like,
no,
mister.
I don't like it when it has
get rid
come.
of that tude.
When you come at me with it.
But that's the thing is that intense people aren't coming at you; they're just talking. That's kind of like that, and that's what I want to talk about is the way he is.
I know, but you haven't even let me finish.
All right, finish.
What I'm saying. He's a really cool doctor. He's really old school. I like it, and now I feel. I don't know where I'm going with it because now I've gotten all anxious about the topic. But pretty much, I like the show. I like him, and I think he's funny. Go on.
What?
Just go ahead. Go on.
Because you feel like you lost your train of thought?
Because I don't know where I'm going with it now. So just go ahead and go on.
Okay, so where I was going with it is I really enjoyed the content of the TV show. But I'm mostly fascinated by, and to make it relatable to our podcast, I'm mostly fascinated by Dr. Poole, and I think it's it's like a.
You keep saying Poole.
I don't know how to say it.
Pole.
Like
a pole.
Well, a lot of people say my name like Stevan, so look, I'm right there with him. Is the communication style, and I don't know if I've never interacted with a lot of people from the Netherlands, but the way he communicates to me reminds me a lot of like German people I've interacted with, or Russian people I've interacted with.
Yeah, because we thought he was Russian at first.
And he's so like you said, he's so intense and he's so straightforward, and he just tells you
but
like
he's like
it is.
So loving and caring.
But he's
all
at the same time. It's got these layers to it.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating is just like how the people in his life, they totally do not like the way he talks to people would be most Americans, I feel, or I would predict that they would find his communication style very abrasive.
But I also think that that's why he's successful in a rural farm area versus like suburbia.
True, yeah. He
would not do well in suburbia.
He may go over better in a rural farming community.
Yeah, because they want matter of fact. Tell me the truth. Tell me what the issue is, and I'll see if I can fix it. And that's who he is. He literally just gives you the facts.
But it's so funny watching how him and his wife interact because he is so rough and so abrasive and so on the go and intense.
But you see, she doesn't put up with it though.
But she really she doesn't react to it ever. She just is like her.
She'll tell him to calm down
and like calm, and she just talks to him. And when he talks to her, she just doesn't react to the tone and the pitch of his voice ever, or the sharpness.
Yeah, but also you have to remember is that she's probably learned. She's either just been naturally good at it.
Be us in like 20, 30
years? I'm
saying
I think you should give me a little bit more credit because I do think that I have gotten a lot better with you than 10 years ago, Kelsey.
No, yeah, I like that's the reason why I'm so sucked into the show is I just like listening to
Steven
him
just
speak
likes
and
the
talk.
fact that somebody like him can be who he is and people not be turned off by it.
I need to move to rural Michigan. That's the lesson I'm learning here.
We're not moving to rural Michigan.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in rural Michigan. Not there's anything wrong with living
It's
in
very
rural
pretty.
Michigan. I'm not really interested in the rural lifestyle.
Neither am I.
It's kind of interesting to see people though that we grew up with who are.
Yeah, because I didn't think that
like
they
people
would
that
go into that.
Like people that I see that I went to high school with, who like
Or straight up cowboys.
Yeah, they're like cowboys, and like that was not how they were in high school. It's just it's very fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Or maybe they were secretly like that, and they just didn't portray it. I don't know. I there's some of the people I didn't know super well.
One main one comes to mind, and I did not ever think for a split second that was ever going to be his lifestyle.
So did you see that gas is like $1.25? You can find it some places under.
Steven, on Main, you can find it for $1.01.
That's crazy. I don't think that's ever happened in our lifetime.
I don't believe I've ever seen it under like $1.50.
Yeah, because you hear those stories like our parents tell about being able to like
grab
scrounge,
change and just throw
fill
it
up
up
their
on the
tank.
counter.
Yeah. And that's like,
never
since
been
we've
me.
been driving, it's always been $2.50, $3 plus.
I remember it being under $2.
I don't know. You're
when
old.
I first started driving.
30's coming quick.
Like it was one of those
30's coming
situations. I'm not bothered by that, so you don't need to say it.
It's not about you being bothered by it. It's just funny.
How is that funny?
They'll get it.
You should have saw my sister's face when I told her. I was FaceTiming with her, and I told her that this coming Sunday was going to be Easter and my birthday, and that I was going to be 29. As soon as I said 29, her eyes got huge because it was almost remembering that she's going to be 32. It like triggered in her head, like, oh
We're
my
all
gosh.
getting old here.
Is that right? Yeah, she's going to be 32 this summer. But it was funny to see her reaction because it's almost like she had a worse reaction than me to me turning 29. She said that she's just made it to where she's just been 30 in her mind, but she's not.
I just can't believe gas is that cheap. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either, and it also kind of like slightly worries me because I think the last time gas prices went down is around when the economy crashed in 08. Which I mean, I know that's
I wouldn't even drive.
It's happening.
I would have started driving in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Spring of 2009, I think.
That might be why I remember it being under $2, is because I was driving then.
But it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's definitely a new normal. It's been an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's the State of the Union of things.
I think the person who's kind of had the hardest with adjusting to all of this has been Cal, because he doesn't, like, we don't go places often, but we do every week, once a week at least, go somewhere, and he's asking, like, if for the very first time, he's like, now he's waking up and saying, what are we going to do today? And that used to be like my question to him every single morning. And I think he senses the change. When
I go out there and work from home out in the garage, he will come out there and he'll be like, I'm going to go ask Mom what we're going to do today.
Yeah. Like he's like, okay, I'm tired of these four walls and I'm tired of seeing just your faces.
Yeah.
I would like to go and do something else. I have been trying to like at least get them in the car and drive around. But we have explained to him that we can't go places because there might be sick people and we don't want to get sick. And I mean, as much of his little 3-year-old brain can understand that, I do think that he does grasp that a bit.
I've got a good, let's end on this.
This guy.
So that we all know this, the current State of the Union is not super positive at the moment. We're hopefully heading to the peak of this thing, and we're gonna then start to see, the downhill side. But if we put a positive light on it, tell me some things you hope come out of this situation, or good, or maybe even good things that you see that are happening that you hope will stick.
I mean, like, I kind of seem to see it, but I don't really know if this is like truth because I don't really trust a whole lot of politicians' words. But it kind of seems like there's a slight shift in taking care of their people. Like, instead of everyone arguing, it seems like they're trying to do everything they can to take better care of Americans, but I kind of hope that with all of this, it kind of should show that, first of all, it seems to me that the CDC should have more money, and we should have better prepared.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely
Our
high on my list.
medical front needs to be better prepared in this type of situation. And if we see something going on in another part of the country, America should be preparing for it right then and there.
Well, my personal, where I've kind of landed on that topic is, and this is like, I'll preface this by saying that I would consider myself more conservative leaning on the political spectrum. I think I hold views that are kind of all over the map, but on an average basis, you would probably put me more towards the right on the spectrum. And one of the things that our country spends a lot of money on is national defense, which I totally agree with. I totally agree that America should have the most well-trained military, the most well-outfitted and equipped military. We should be prepared to fight wars on multiple fronts at any given time against multiple enemies. I
get that, but I don't feel like we're very prepared to protect ourselves of an enemy we can't see.
Well, and that was kind of where I was going, is what my logic in this whole experience has led me is that this is a real existential threat, just like any other, what we would classically think of an enemy as, another nation state, or in our lifetime, somebody who's perpetuating terrorism or acts of violence to advance political causes. But this seems to be an even more, or an equally real I can't say that word, an equally real threat as any of those other enemies.
Yeah.
And I feel like that should fold into national defense in some way, shape, or form. We should have a stockpile of ventilators. We should have a stockpile of PPE. We should have slack in our medical system.
And it's very shocking to me that we're supposed to be one of these, like, this big, huge first world, like, country that everyone wants to flock to, but for some reason, this is, like, debilitating.
Well, I think I don't
States.
think any of the, I can't say that.
No, and I get that, but I'm saying that, like, other places, their medical professionals are much better taken care of in these situations.
I don't think so. I don't think that other nation states are.
But they're, like, completely covered in these, like, hazmat, like, suits, and our medical professionals don't have that.
But there are other nation states that I think most other nations are not they're not prepared adequately.
No, I'm not saying nobody was prepared for this. Everyone has been running.
I mean, we are
to catch up.
In terms of a model of the virus, we are currently the most advanced into an outbreak. We have the most cases. We're going to have the most deaths. We are, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of what we saw in China, what we see in Italy, at this stage of the game, the U.S. has surpassed all those statistics. So what we're seeing in terms of breakdown, in terms of
I also think that is because Americans are ignorant, and a lot of them are not doing what they need to do to help.
Yes, again, there could have been a lot, but in terms of just being prepared, which is you're never going to have enough PPE if you wait till 3 months before it. You're never going to have enough of those things if you wait until somebody else is having a problem. All that needs to be done years in advance. It's just like we don't start waiting to produce bullets when we enter a war. We've already produced bullets to fight the war.
No, I completely agree.
You know what I mean?
We've
already produced weapons. Because manufacturing you can't ramp it up fast enough. And in this case, by the time we get things ramped up, it's going to be
we're going to be on the decline.
Yeah. So.
Or hopefully.
So I would agree with that. Is that out of this, we should definitely, as a nation,
there needs to be a lot more focus on how to protect the United States
and
in this
it
type
needs
of
not to
situation.
be. It need not be politicians doing that. It needs to be
Yeah.
experts in public health, expert in
But the issue is
epidemiology.
that the politicians are the one that dictate where the money goes.
And that I just want I want the American public to put pressure on elected representatives that they need to make this a priority, and then I want to see politicians put people who are subject matter experts in charge of what is that prepared readiness look like. What is the task force? Put a task force together of experts who know how to prepare for this type of
But this being scientists and medical professionals like this, not anybody that who our president at the time thinks should be on the task force. They need to have a medical background. It needs to be the smartest of the smartest people.
Yeah, it needs to be, but it needs to be multidisciplinary. You've got to have people who are experts in biomedical engineering.
Yeah.
You've got to have experts in the manufacturing of that stuff. You got to have that. You got to have just a broad spectrum of people who are all going to be part of that effort in a situation like we're currently in, addressing it and planning for the next one, because there will inevitably be a next one, and we don't want to be caught this unprepared, I think, again.
Yeah.
What else?
I hope that I know people are going to disagree with me on this, but I hope that it shows in the workforce that people are capable of working from home. I hope that it kind of transitions this like stigma on doing so, and then also along the front of like Zoom like stuff being a bigger thing, because Joplin not so much anymore. We used to have a lot of snow days, and we'd have to go well into our summer in school because we'd miss a lot of school days. I hope that there's some type of transition in the education world to be able to maybe hold classes on Zoom from home, so that we're not having to like risk kids going to school on a bus and hoping that it's not too bad of roads for the children to get there. I just hope that on a lot of fronts that there's different thinking from this, and I also hope that it kind of shows people, it helps people slow down and realize what's important in life, and what's important in life is your family, and taking care of your family, taking care of yourselves and your well-being and stuff like that. And also I just hope all the people who are not listening and viewing it as like you're taking away my rights, it's frustrating for me, because it's not about the government taking away your rights. It's you as a person protecting your fellow American, because everyone's all gun-ho. I'm an American. I bleed red, white, and blue. But then when it comes down to actually helping your fellow American, they're like, why should I do that? You know, like it's frustrating to me to see that. Because as soon as it all started happening, I feel like everyone then should have immediately started taking measures to protect themselves and their family, for the most part.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I would agree that I hope that the flexibility sticks. I hope that I hope that this forces people to get more comfortable with technology. It forces people to get more comfortable with, random things like ordering groceries online, buying things through Amazon, using teleconferencing, using email. I just hope people, that flexibility in work and education and life in general sticks around. And I think to some level it will. I think a lot of it will just depend on the individuals within leadership positions in the business community, in education. If they look at it as an opportunity to leverage new things and learn new things, which I'm sure it'll be 50-50. It'll be a normal curve like always. There'll be some that don't. There'll be some that take it way too far. There'll be some that fall somewhere. Most people will fall somewhere in the middle of that. I think though it should really make people like rethink just like the structure of the world. Like I think we get used to things being a certain way. Every generation kind of does. Like, like
it is what it is.
Yeah, this is the world we were given. This is the rules that were given to us. These are the rules that these people made up and we abide by. And I think it's kind of like that quote that's kind of like, every rule that you live by today was put in place by people that no longer live on the earth.
Yeah.
And it's I'm not saying I'm an advocate for anarchy, but sometimes I feel like we should collectively stop and think for a second, hey, maybe we should do this differently.
Well, just times change, situations change.
Hey, maybe there's a way to do this better.
Yeah.
And I think this is forcing us not necessarily out of a quest for better or more efficient, but out of a quest for necessity. It's forcing us to look at things that way. It's forcing us to say, okay, this is how we've always done it. We can't do it that way for whatever COVID-related reason. So how can we work around it? Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to reveal positives. But I hope that pattern of thinking or that's
because I mean we've already seen it slightly. Like I saw articles of Dyson creating a new type of ventilator, and now they're pushing those into production and stuff like that. It's just it's sad that it took something like this for people to be like, oh hey, I can help, in type of situations. But as you were talking, it kind of made me think of something else on the education front. I saw a teacher post a little snippet of that about state testing and stuff like that, because all of it's been canceled now. They said that it was put in place because teachers and principals would get lazy. That's why they initially was put in place. But as you can see that those things are canceled, and teachers and principals and administrators have been working harder than ever. And so it's just, I just hope that there is change coming from all of this to kind of shift people's thinking of maybe there is a better way of doing things, is my biggest hope. And it's also nice to see that on some fronts that some areas are getting cleaner because people aren't out there in the world.
Oh, you mean like driving cars and stuff?
Yeah.
Are you one of those environmentalist hippies?
Yeah. There's like a whole bunch of like turtles being born because there wasn't people like being on the beaches and messing it up. And
you think they're related? Or you think
I do think it's related because then there's also like a lot of
makes for
pollution.
A good Facebook post.
Pollution issues, like with people not being out on the roads and stuff, people are able to see monuments and stuff further and further, and it's just nice to see that maybe on some twisted level that maybe God did this to kind of give the world, like the actual earth, a break.
So. I don't think so. No, I don't think God sent the virus.
No, I'm not saying that like he sent it. I'm just saying that whatever. That's not like what I meant by it.
No, I know that. Obviously, I know that.
Apparently not, because now you've just put in everyone's minds who are listening to this that Kelsey thinks that God sent this horrible.
I will tell you that I'm glad that we're caught up on our episodes now. But I'm tired. Are you tired?
Mm-mm.
All right, well, I'm tired. So this was fun. I really enjoyed it. And I hope you did too. I'm talking to you.
Thanks.
You didn't enjoy it?
I mean, it seemed a little rough in a couple parts.
Wow. Ah.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. Let's not air out any more of our dirty laundry. Let's just go ahead and end it.
All right. Yeah, thanks for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Find us on Instagram. Tell us what you did or did not like about it. It's cool. Either way, we don't judge. Well, we may judge a little bit if you didn't like it. So yeah, until the next episode. Hope you guys have a good week. We'll talk to you later.
Good night.